Hey, I'm Weekend Gabe, and you're checking out Weekend at Gabe's, and thanks for checking out this latest episode. While you're here, also follow us on these social medias at Weekend Gabe, at Weekend at Gabe's, and also at The Real Sam Crane. Thanks for checking us out. He is one of the most funniest comedians that we've seen. He's over at the Laugh Factory a lot here in Chicago. It is a pleasure to introduce Clark Jones here on Weekend at Gabe's and bring him in. How are you, sir?
Yo, what's up, man? How I'm following Malik Yousaf? I ain't
Where's
the
your Kanye
headliner.
story?
Yeah,
Where's
where's
your
your Kanye
Kanye?
story, Clark Jones?
I
Just
actually,
right now. Let's
actually,
get to it.
actually have I have a couple Kanye stories.
Let's go.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
this is the Kanye show. So the first time I ever talked to Kanye West, this is crazy. I was running this. I was in student government in college. This is like 2003 maybe, and I just wanted to do something different. So I had created this thing called Abstinence Week, and it was like just like a wellness. So I was on self care before it was popping. Like I'm an OG self care type of person, so it was like a week for all the student body. It didn't have to be sex, but anything that you felt like you was addicted to, just give it up for a week. And we did programming and all this other stuff. And my boy worked with GOC at the Lark in Evergreen Plaza, so they were cool.
Right.
And I'm telling him about the idea. I was like, man, Kanye just came out, like really. '03, he was just really like bubbling. This is before the album even really dropped, or had like got going crazy. So I'm just telling my cousin, I'm like, yeah, man, I want to get Kanye down in Chicago. I love what he's talking about. He got the Jesus walks, woo woo. So he on the phone listening to me, and he handed me the phone, and it's GOC Leonard on the phone, and he like, hold on, I'm going to put him on the phone right now, and I didn't know who he was talking about, and he was just like, yeah, man, that sounded like a dope idea, talking about Abstinence Week. And I still didn't know this was Kanye. I thought I was just telling one of his friends that I was doing the thing. So when you don't know who it is, you way more comfortable talking. So I'm talking like Kanye to Kanye. I'm like, yo, it's gonna be dope. Everybody go jump into it. It's Morehouse. It's Atlanta. It's gonna be crazy. He was like, oh man, yeah, I want to come down there and do it. And that's when it hit me. And he was like, he said the craziest thing. He's like, man, I didn't even know people in Atlanta was fucking with me like that. This is what Kanye West said to me in 2003.
Wow.
And so he slid me. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna give you my manager's email address. And this is the email address, no lie. It was Don C at attwireless.net. I'll never forget Don C's contact email. So I was hitting Don C about doing it and him coming down, and he ended up not being able to make it because it coincided with the Grammys. So we
Go
were
figure,
this
right?
close. We were this close to having a very humble Kanye down at Morehouse College. Um, yeah, it was close. That's one of like a few Kanye stories. But Chicago's small. We always run into each other.
Word.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
So,
man.
so when did the comedy bug bite you? We asked this to all our guests who are on Thursday Thunnies to kind of like share when that moment of just creativity, or when they always knew that they were funny, but they decided to take that next step and get in front of a crowd instead of in front of their family. Well, what was that? What was that moment for you?
Dude, I started off as an audience member to my family. Like I come from that very funny, and the thing is, we didn't have at the holidays. We didn't have alcohol and all of the stuff. Like very religious, so people were just funny off personality. Like no alcohol, nobody saying nothing crazy. It was all like the sharpest type jokes. So I wasn't the funny one in the family. I was just my brother, my mother, my uncles, all of that. And my boy got into comedy, and I was just like, "Oh, let me try to write some jokes for you." And I remember he hit me. This is at the beginning. I was like, "All right, I'm just gonna mess around with it." And then he told me he was doing the show out of town, which I was like, "Oh, you going out of town and doing it?" Like, it was probably a bringer show. Like he lost money on it. But then he was like, "Yeah, I got this message from so and so, this girl," and she was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna come down and watch you." And he showed me the message, and that's when I was like, "I'm about to really I'm about to really start trying to do this. If you got girls coming out of town to see you perform,
Yeah.
like, and I think I'm funnier than you, so that's what made me just go ahead and do it. Yeah, that was the moment. Most stories start with a female of some sort or a woman of some sort that plays a part in it. Yeah.
That's funny. I'm from Oak Park. I got to throw the air horn one time. But one time we met Tom.
OPRF.
Yeah, OPRF. You know,
shout out to the SAT. That's why I took the SAT.
You already know. But we was talking to Tom Lennon, famously the Reno 911 guy with the short shorts, who was a graduate of OPRF, who said the exact same thing. The way he got into acting, there was a hot girl in the acting class, and he was like, I gotta be there, you know.
Yeah. It's like, man, I'm tired of talking one-on-one. Like, I'd rather talk to an audience full, and whoever, mess with what I said, they'll come up to me after the show. Like, it was just like a whole Jedi mind trick type thing. So it was, that was 13, 08 is when I started, 13 years ago.
Wow. And fast forward, I heard that you took over comedy at the Knitting Factory. That's Brooklyn. Am I right?
Yeah, that was a big watershed moment.
From another Chicago legend, Hannibal Burress.
From another, Chicago. I put that in the. This was a Chicago Legends episode.
Definitely.
I had met Hannibal when we first started doing our show in Chicago, a show called Two Black Dudes in the Open Mic. Me and my boy Will, who's the one I was talking about in the story. So he's just come by and always supportive. And when we moved to New York, this was like when the Cosby thing went like national. So his buzz was just like crazy. So he couldn't just be doing this free show. Where that's the thing about comedians. We have to, if we have enemies, we have to publicly every night say where we're gonna be at unprotected. You know what I'm saying? So like you can't be this tough guy. You should be trying to diffuse arguments as much as possible, because I always have to tell people where I'm gonna be performing. So I don't know the whole reason behind it, but we were coming from a show in the Uber before like Uber was even a thing. He was in a car and he just leaned over. He's like, "Yeah, y'all want to take over the show?" And I was like, "Hell yeah!" And I texted Will and my boy Kenny, and we ran that for like 4.5 years in New York, and it was big. It was huge. Yeah,
that's fantastic.
On top of that, do you have a favorite food spot in Brooklyn? I'm headed back in June, and if you got Rex, I need to know.
Oh, there's a Mario's. I think it's called Little Romeo's Pizza, and they're great. They're in Brooklyn. They got the best wings I've ever tasted, and the pizza is pretty solid. And then there's a deep dish place in Lower Manhattan, and the chef is from Chicago, so like I ain't no big deep dish guy, but like they got thin crust too, and it's cafeteria cut, so that they're from Chicago. And now when y'all post this episode, I'm gonna post I'm gonna put their Instagram so everybody can know, support this place. That's nice. That I used to go to all the time in New York. Yeah.
Word.
So I was watching some of the clips of things you've done in the past, some bits that you've done, and I think it's relevant. You talked about Bone Thugs and Harmony as being this rap group that summoned death, and would kill you after death. That was their whole thing.
They only rap about Ouija boards and weed. That was it. You couldn't rest in peace around them guys. Like you can't even die. They're gonna find you in the afterlife at the crossroads with their Uncle Charles, y'all. And it's like that's extreme violent. You can't even die. You can't even just all right. It's over. Yeah.
So, was it any surprise that you could found out that Busy Bone can't fight, and that when 3-6 Mafia pulled up on them at Versus?
Man, but the loudest ones are the ones that can't fight, because he came out before he even started rapping. He's like, "Y'all not finna make fun of me on stage. I don't do this. First of all, y'all ugly." Like as somebody who had the jokes, I was the one who wasn't trying to fight. I was hoping I would I want to make the person who was the target laugh too. That's the difference. A lot of people be bullying with jokes and they like, and we laughing at you. But I want it to be so funny that you like, man, you got me. Ain't no bigger compliment than somebody being like, yeah, you got me on that one.
Yeah.
Because the rule is you're supposed to roast things that they can change, or roast decisions that they made to come out wearing that shirt. You know what I'm saying? Or wearing your hair like that or whatever it is. Like, I ain't gonna get it. You in a wheelchair. It ain't your fault. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't do nothing about that. So you go after things that they can change or things that they decided to do on their own will. That's my rule for roasting.
There you go. The other thing is that you mentioned, like, you kind of joked about like having diabetes, and at 16, that, like you said, you were chasing it and it finally caught up with you.
Yeah.
Like what is a 16-year? Because I know sometimes like there's kids who just they're just bad genes, and they just get the shit, and not anything that they did or didn't do. But like, were you like really just out of control, like, sugar high and really just wilding out?
That's the thing. This is I guess is the insight part. Like, it's two types of diabetes. A lot of people don't know. So the type 2 is when you are overweight and maybe you're older and stuff don't work like it used to. Type 1 is when your shit just shut down. So like I just wasn't able to do it. So it was just like my pancreas just stopped making insulin. And I had lost I want to say I lost like 40 pounds in a week and a half.
Holy shit.
And I had like this rash at the same time that was like common. So like, I was a virgin at the time, thankfully. So it was like, that was the best. That was the most happiest I had been to be a virgin, because it was like, it ain't nothing crazy. It's got to be something else. And I went to the hospital and found out, and like, just a lot of it's hard to manage, especially since people can't see it on you. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I got a broken arm or like whatever. I gotta look.
Or you're in a wheelchair,
Or is that right? I'm not in the temporary wheelchair where I could get roasted. So like, people can't even hit me on the diabetes unless I talk about it, which was dope because I got to talk about it on my album in a way that I want to talk about it and make it funny.
Yeah. What is I was gonna ask you, when we often sometimes ask it, because you did shows in Chicago, obviously, and so we often sometimes ask. We asked Tim Barnes this and a number of other comedians. Like, do you have different sets that you have prepared for the North Side, the West Side, the Far South Side, or do you just approach it like, whatever you come to see Clark Jones, you're gonna get Clark Jones? I'm not catering to the crowds.
In the beginning, it was all pandering. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, it was all like, all right, let me see who in there. Let me see what they gonna like. But I ain't had the material. So like, the good thing about Chicago is it's segregated, which is bad. But like, I got to see, okay, these jokes work for this crowd. Then I go down to 35th and like, oh, these jokes work for this crowd. So I got to see, and then it was just like, man, it's getting too hard to change it up every time because I'm forgetting jokes. So once I learned, like, all right, tonight, I remember it was like 2010. I had like 3 shows. I had a show over in like back of the yards area, which is primarily Mexican. I had a show on 47th Street, which is all Asian, not just playing, all black. And then I had one in Lincoln Park, which was mostly white. And I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna do the same set tonight at the same 3 spots. And I bombed, but I did learn I bombed 2 out of the 3 shows, but I did learn, like, man, it's too hard trying to change it up every time. I gotta learn how to just go out there and talk about me. Because before it was like, I'm gonna talk about Mexican stuff, I'm gonna talk about black stuff. But I was like, I'm gonna just make my stories funny instead.
Right. That's a good point.
Yeah, man.
We touched, Yeah, like, is there if you were just getting into comedy, is that a level that you cross, like, where, you say in the beginning it's a lot of pandering? I think we hear that from a lot of people who come on and do this segment, especially if they're new to the game, that it becomes a lot of pandering. But is that like a threshold you cross, and then it's like, I feel like Clark Jones the comedian, like?
Yeah, it's definitely like key points where you just get that super saiyan. You like, damn, I'm in my element. They laughing at my funny or what I think is. I'm a funny person to them, even though the bits are pre-written. Like, they just messing with me. I don't even know who in the crowd, and that happened. Getting a chance to open for Hannibal, like these big shows. I don't know nothing about Maryland, but I'm in Maryland and I got to be funny. So like, going on the road with different people, that helped me to just be like, you don't know what's gonna be out there, women, men, gay, straight, whatever. You just got to be funny. And it was big when I just started not caring about them liking me, but more focused on them loving me. Because comedians you like say what you agree with. Comedians you love say what you never thought you would agree with. You're like, damn, I would have never thought I would be laughing at this, but this dude got me laughing so hard. He broke it down in such a way that I'm like, I'm a fan now. That's how you get fans. Like, if people liking what you're saying, they'll be fans of the show. But then when they love you, they'll be fans of you.
Yeah.
Word.
How do you handle hecklers?
It depends, because people, it's two types. Like the ones, I've never lost to a heckler who was trying to be mean. It's the hecklers who think that they helping, the girls who want attention in the crowd, or people who wish that they was on stage and they like laughing too hard. Like that, just because it's like I didn't even get to the punchline. Like, stop that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I put a lot of time on it. Stop laughing. This is the quiet part. But then you can learn how to, you learn how to and it's just from theater background, like how to, like, because comedians get scared a lot of times when it's quiet, you know. But like when you learn, I learned that from Chris Rock. Chris Rock was like, that's when you got him. Because you like Luther Vandross used to have the whole crowd silent. And he was like, if I can get people silent, that means they listening, paying attention, they ain't looking at their phone, and then they ready for that. That punchline got to hit though, because if they quiet and they listening and the punchline don't hit, then you lost them for the rest of the show. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's risky, but you get better at it as you go along.
Word. We touched a little bit on the verses with Busy Bone a while back, but another thing I saw you say online was that Jay-Z would not win the verses. And Clark Jones, I gotta be honest with you, man, I'm with you on this one, but I fully believe that Jay-Z would lose to a lot of people. I could name 5 people off the top of my head easily. Weekend Gabe is looking at me skeptical, and Clark, I need you to educate him right fast.
Yeah, I said it on every platform. Jay-Z would not win a versus in his own house. He would not. He would not be. And people think I'm talking about Beyonce. I'm talking about Blue Ivy. Like, Blue Ivy. If a little girl came out there with a remix to Ether, or like just if she do anything, and I know Jay-Z is a tough guy. He from Brooklyn, all of that, but he is not about to go that hard on his daughter. So it's already a handicap. and then Blue Ivy, if Beyonce got to choose who she gonna come out and do a song with, she gonna do it with Blue Ivy. Ain't no guest Jay-Z could bring out that's gonna top Beyonce. So like it's I wouldn't even take that versus if I was he might be Lil Wayne, he might beat Kanye, but he ain't beating Blue Ivy or Beyonce. The records don't lie, and Beyonce can rap. Like, I listened to the Carter's album. Like, Beyonce.
Oh yeah.
Really somebody, you know what? Yeah. Somebody told me that in 2014, and I argued for hours. And then as soon as I left their apartment, I was like, you know what? They right. Beyonce can rap better than Jay-Z.
Beyonce can rap, and then she'll throw the vocals on that. Like, it ain't even close, man. Jay-Z can't sing, so what are you gonna do when she starts singing and rapping? It's over.
Man. So what are you up to? When's your next show? Are you back in Chicago? Are you back on the road? Where are you at the next couple weeks?
I'm in Chicago for an extended period, doing shows at the Laugh Factory. Actually, I don't know when it's going up, but I'm there this weekend. I'm here all month, and then I have a special birthday show at North Bar on January 26th. North Bar on North Avenue, right off of Ashland.
Yep.
When we're gonna have musical guests, and we're gonna do some freestyling at the end. And I'm gonna do like a long set. It's called 30 something. So I'm gonna do like maybe 35, 30. I might do 39 minutes since it's my 39th birthday.
Hey. Nice. All right. Well, we're gonna be on a little bit of hiatus, so we might have the time to slide through.
Everybody listen. Everybody, make sure you follow me. I'm gonna be posting the links and everything by next week. So if you follow me, you'll be up to date with it. And I'm gonna be promoting it like crazy.
All right, sounds good. Clark Jones, thank you so much for joining us here on Weekend at Gabe's for Thursday. Thunnies, man, this was really fun. I will never forget your Busy Bone impersonation. So you know that shit killed.
You ugly motherfucker. You ugly.
Take your pills.
Yes,
take your pills.
He was going crazy. His voice is so high pitched. Y'all better not be making fun of me while I'm on stage. I'm like, is that Cat Williams?
Oh my God, that's the second Cat Williams reference this week on this show.
Yes,
so.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, yeah, man. You got to go back and listen to a Tuesday show with Ray Flores.
Ray Flores,
He has an amazing Cat Williams story. All right, thank you so much, Clark. Enjoy the rest of your night, man. Maybe we'll see you on the 26th, but if not, appreciate you so much.
Amen.
All right, that's closing out our week here on Weekend at Gabe's.
Man, we had. Oh man, I know when we did the Abstract Mind State show, I said that this was about, as far as 6 degrees of separation goes, this is about as close as we was gonna get to Kanye West. 2022 has opened up with a goddamn bang. We got the story of how all of the lights was created. We got the story of Hurricane and the Donda sessions. We got a story of how Kanye was on the phone, but Clark Jones did not know it was Kanye.
Right.
And how he got Don C's email. Yo, a Chicago Legends show, a Chicago Legends weekend, Gabe.
Yeah.
And we did the damn thing.
I was so worried last week because I was coming up empty on guests, and I was like, "Yo, this is gonna be a trash week," and it turned out to an otherwise trash week outside of this show. This went phenomenally great, and I'm so excited and happy that it went as well as it did because there's just like so many high moments to reflect on, and the guests were absolutely phenomenal. Everyone that came on offered some really great story or tidbit that you can hang your hat on. And I wish we would have probably did a little bit of cross talk between.
We got to figure that out. It's a good idea, but it's gonna mess me up on the editing side, on the back end.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So
we'll do something like that though. That's a good idea. Maybe 2022, anything is possible because it's not a new year weekend, Gabe. We learned on this episode, it's a now year.
That's amazing. That shit is just like.
Man, he said about 5 things in that interview where I was just like, oh my God, did he just say that?
Incredibly intelligent, just beyond. All right, before we get out of here, 1 week away from Weekend at Gabe's 100. If you're watching and you haven't bought your ticket yet, please head over to Bourbon on Division. Get your ticket now, $20, or it's going to be $30 at the door next week. And you can spend those extra $10 buying me a drink. So buy it now. And then forward to $10 at the bar, or however you want to spend it, and buy some merch. From the Ghetto Flower is going to be there. Us We is going to be joined from Punk Adams, and then there might be some Weekend at Gabe shirts.
There might be America. There might be. That's a Weekend at Gabe's exclusive. There might be. Yo, we finna be out there. Come catch it. January 13th, Bourbon on Division. Mike is in the chat. Mike Watts is in the chat. He will be DJing for LaSalle Grandeur. And for an hour before the show opens up, so come watch him spin a once-in-a-lifetime experience. The next time is going to be way more expensive than $20, and courtesy of Cash Drop Biz, all of that $20 goes into the pocket of the artist, and that is why we do what we do, Weekend Gabe, and we do 3 things on this show, and what are they?
We share, support, and show some love. We're out, America. Join us next Tuesday. We're going to talk with all the guests who are going to be on our show Thursday night for Weekend at Games 100. You don't want to miss it. Tuesday night, 8 o'clock, Twitch TV, Weekend at Games. Enjoy your weekend, America. We're out. Hey, I'm Weekend Gabe. Thanks for checking out this latest episode of Weekend at Gabe's. Click on any of the links swirling around my head, and also hit the subscribe button while you're here. Thanks for checking out us here on YouTube.